right, we are now live. So let me go post this real quick. I'm just gonna let it roll. You cannot minimize it. Okay, that's fine. Oh, shoot. You hear about Devon? Looks like he's gonna get his license back.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
Joseph finally got him.
It's crazy not to, especially with Joseph here in the office. You literally can help build a team for him.
Landers like, I want to see.
And where's my WhatsApp? Jordan Swindell. Oh, hey, can you add Jordan Swindell? Yeah. I am going to be doing start of training starting now. If you would like to
Individual production.
Okay. We're streaming now, so, and this is being recorded, so you can watch it later. I'll upload it.
Okay, can they see me?
Yeah, they can see you.
I was gonna say-
They can see me and William. They can see everybody. They see me more when I lean up like this.
Okay.
So you should totally be very self-conscious. Okay. All right. So what I want to do, you're both ready to hit the field. I want to go through what I call the 4 pillars of production. It's important to understand them, just because it's the basics of to manage your personal production business. Okay. So the first one really is just hang on, I'll get through my head. There's actually 5 pillars of production. I had one, I forgot. So now you have to redo your notes. All right, the 5 pillars of production are as follows. All right, first is product. The first pillar of production is knowing your products. Now I'm going to give you some very simple products that you should write down. You should download the apps for. So that means physically have backup paper apps. Most of what we do is going to be electronic apps, as you know. But it's always good to have, and even have an extra one, because there's going to be, you can't pull the questions up to see if somebody qualifies on an e-app. So if you have a paper app, you can quickly go through and go, oh yeah, they would qualify for this, put it away, and do the e-app. So the apps I'm getting ready to give you, I want you to have paper apps with you at all times so you can reference them. Okay. All right. So the first one you're going to want to get familiar with is the Forrester's Strong Foundation. And this is going to be used primarily for your traditional term life insurance and also what we call mortgage protection. It's kind of our go-to. And it's an easy app. Let me give you some tips on this variety of this. So the nice thing about the e-app, when you write this, if you need a form like a supplemental, it's going to pop it up for you. You're going to fill it out, so you can't forget it on the e-app. Versus paper, like let's just say there's certain conditions like diabetes sometimes needs a diabetic supplement. Well, if you don't have a diabetic supplement with you, now you're like, or you have to go back out. But on an e-app, it just says, oh, they check diabetes. It's going to ask you the questions, and you're going to fill it out and be done with it. So it's very convenient. It's a very self-explanatory e-application. There's not a lot to it. It says put their social. Yeah, it's real straightforward. And you'll probably see this when you write your personal policy. I highly recommend families that have children under the age of 18. I really, really want to put at least one Strong Foundation or Smart UL, which I'll talk about later, in that home because of the children. It's one of the biggest things. And one of the things you need to do is you have to learn how to sell the free riders. So Forrester's has some free riders. Now, why do I say sell it? Because people buy when value exceeds, if here's cost, people buy when value exceeds cost. And so if it's like kind of right here, and all of a sudden you sell the free values, it puts it up there and like, oh, it's no brainer. All right, so one of the biggest free writers that I like about foresters is that, God forbid, if it's a single mom or single dad in a home that has kids, or if, God forbid, mom and dad together but get killed in a car wreck, or they die together, those children have become orphaned in the eyes of the state, right? Anytime that happens, foresters is going to give, like, we'll start with one kid. Let's say their mom, dad got killed in a wreck, babysitters at home, horrible, horrible, horrible. Now the baby's got, somebody's going to take custody of that. It's usually a family member. Whoever the family member is that gets the child will receive $900 per month for child support to cover expenses such as food and clothing, so that the child does not become a financial burden on the new family. This is an addition to the life insurance, and it's free. And they will pay $900 a month until that child's 18. Here's the crazy thing. Let's say mom and dad have 3 kids at home when it happens, or a single mom's out and gets killed by herself. Now, somebody's going to inherit 3 kids, $900, $1,800, $2,700 a month. That's $900 per child is going to go to the person that takes over, so that those children aren't a financial burden. So the insurance will pay out in full, but in addition to that, they're going to be getting $900 per month. So, and the children are more likely to be well cared for. They're not, the new family doesn't see them as competition financially for their own children, for instance, because they're going to be getting a check every month for $900 for each one of those little mouths they got to feed. It's massive, and it's free. It doesn't cost them anything. They're also,
Is that till they're 18?
yeah, so let's just say, so hypothetically, let's just say the first one, as soon as the first one of 3 turns 18, the payment will drop to $1,800 because it's not even an adult. Makes sense?
Okay.
You're a math guy. You get this. What else? Kids are going to get scholarships too in that situation. It's called orphan scholarships. So they're going to get like $2,000 for books and stuff each year. And so there's some really cool benefits. Now, situations where mom and dad don't die, everybody's happy,
Yeah.
and the family lives, they're still eligible for what they call a competitive scholarship. And so, and that's just for being a Foresters member. And the biggest thing is, like, Foresters is actually a nonprofit group. And so they don't have stockholders, they have members. Members are people that own policies. So literally, when they become part of the Foresters family, they own a part of the company. And I would use terms like that too when you're explaining it. Foresters family. When you become a member of Foresters family, these benefits are automatically extended to you at no cost. And give me a second to write, because I'm not talking fast. And I want to give you a tip for writing the e-app, so let me know when you guys are caught up. Okay.
If the parents live, you said that they're still eligible for what scholarship?
That's called a competitive scholarship. So literally, the Foresters, they give about 350 of these a year. Generally, they don't even give them all out because people don't ask for them. It's crazy. But yeah, they give them, most people in the Alliance have Foresters policies. All the kids get them because they ask for them. I mean, it's not hard. They're not necessarily looking for straight A's. They're looking for community involvement, stuff like that. Because Foresters gives back to communities a lot. That's a big part of the mission.
And you said it's so you become a member of the family because they're
when they have a policy.
when they have a
Yeah,
policy.
and they, just for nomenclature, Foresters calls their policy certificates. So when you call the company, they're like, you know the certificate number. They're referring to the policy. It's just how they call it that. Everybody else calls them, because it's a fraternal organization. But yeah, the phrase I used was when you get a policy and you become a member of the Foresters family, these benefits are automatically extended to you at no cost. And I get people that just get like a tiny policy just so they have that like that. It's like a just in case for the kids. That child support's huge. It's massive. Especially when you get into like your single parent situations, because the risk is that much higher. Okay, tip. So this will be your tip for doing an e-app on a strong foundation. But this also applies to the Smart UL, which is the permanent version of that. The Strong Foundation is a term. Smart UL is a universal life. Universal lives go out to age 121. Underwriting for those two products is identical. So the same risks are absorbed, that sort of thing. Not talking about the UL right now, I was just mentioning that, just so you have that for future knowledge. Here's the tip. When you get to the end of your Foresters policy, you're going to see this today, Heidi, when you write yours. it's going to say, you're going to lock the application. It's going to say signature method. It's going to give you, on the laptop, it's going to give you two choices. First choice is email. The second one is a wet signature where you print the app. I want you to stop the e-app at that point. I want you to go to your phone or tablet. If you have a tablet, it's even better. Open the e-app the same way. And the way you open an e-app is you log into naaleads.com. You don't log into Foresters. You never launch your e-apps from the company. You launch it from inside of NAA.
NAAleads.com.
Yep. Yeah. And so when you get in, the way you do it is on the left-hand side, and you'll have this firsthand here in a few minutes. I'll walk you through it when we get ready to do yours. I'm going to sit by you to teach you how to do it. But so what happens is you're going to go on the left-hand side, go down to carriers, and then it's going to pop out all the carriers, and then you're going to slide down to Foresters, click on Foresters, and it'll open up the Foresters page for NAA. You have it. And it's got a bunch of videos, information, underwriting guidelines, sample applications. But what we're looking for is on the right-hand side, something that says begin e-application or electronic application. You're going to click that button. So that's how you start your application. But now we've gotten to the point where it says lock, and we have to choose a signature method, and we're looking at two. I want you to stop at that point, go to your phone, go to NAA Leads, Carriers, Foresters, and I want you to click. It sounds counterintuitive because you've already started it, but I want you to click again, begin electronic application, because the next page that pops up, you have two choices: start new application or view my cases. You're going to click view my cases on your phone, and you're going to pick the person, like you'll see whatever case is active, it'll be at the very top. You go to, you look at it, there's going to be a drop down, open case. You're going to open it up, click the application, and it's going to take you exactly to that signature page where you left off. It's the beauty of an e-app.
Nice.
All right. And so now, though, because you're on a phone that has a touch interface, you're going to see three options. And one option, the top one, is going to say face to face. You're going to touch that one. You have to complete the signature part on your phone. You're just going to kind of go through. Well, at one point, they'll turn your phone sideways, and then you'll be able to hand your phone to the client, and they're going to be able to take their finger, and they're going to sign. You're going to say capture. You're going to say next. And once you get that, and then you get yours, you can either finish it out on your phone, or at that point, once you have both signatures in place, you can switch back. You have to just basically go back, re-log in, and if you want to finish it on your laptop, you can. But to capture signatures, you're always going to want to do a face-to-face, because you don't have to. It's just confusing for the clients a lot of times. If you send this out, an email to them, and they're like trying to figure out like how to open the email. Oh, I got a pop-up blocker on. What is this PDF thing? And if they're older, it's horrible, you know. But if you can do it all for them, go here, you have to sign here with your finger, and then you submit. It's done, and there's no waiting around. I mean, you'll have the application submitted that minute, like it's done. So that's my tip on Foresters.
I was going to use.
Did you do Foresters for you, or did you?
No, I did Columbia.
Yeah, it's fine. So you still get some possible.
I was saying, Landry's going to let me use her iPad. She has the Apple Pen with it, so
It's exactly what I do. Exactly that.
yeah.
The reason I like the phone can just be so
small, and
you're like kind of. It's very. You can do it. I have 8 brand new agents do it all the time. If you have access to a tablet, or if you need one,
I have one with it.
that is absolutely perfect. So you'll just need to make sure you're on the internet, so Wi-Fi, or use your hotspot on your phone. Pull it up, and if you have a pen, the client really likes that. And you just sign it. Then you can finish the app out. I like starting on a laptop because it's so much faster than trying to do all this craziness. But switch over, switch back.
Okay.
And I mean, it sounds somewhat, but it's nothing to it. All right, so that's Forester. So that's the first product. So I gave a little bit. Generally, when I'm teaching this, like the 5 pillars of production, I start with all the products, but I'm slowing down a little bit with you guys, and I'm giving you sales tips while I'm doing it. So some of this has to do with like in-home skills.
Okay.
All right, so these are just practical tips. But the second product I want you to be familiar with is Mutual of Omaha's Living Promise. I may be switching this soon to Columbia Financial because I don't require a telephone interview.
What promise?
Living Promise. Yeah, I like it because it's fairly simple. I'm going to give you a tip at the end, just like I did though, because the e-app changed this year. So here's why I like Living Promise. It's going to be what we consider a final expense. So like when you're calling final expense leads, this is pretty much your go-to. So you'll know in your mind, as long as they are relatively healthy. So what's relatively healthy? Okay, they got diabetes, they're on insulin, have never had, they got it diagnosed after age 50. They've never had any complications. Forrester's going to shut them down. All the mortgage protection is going to shut them down. Living Promise is going to go, oh, that's fine, we don't care. All right, they've ever had a heart attack, a cancer, stroke, they're not going to get Living Promise. We'll move to Transamerica, which is next. Don't write that down yet. So Living Promise is for your relatively healthy older people that want permanent coverage, right? Or they need to, like the smallest amount we can do on the Foresters is 25,000. Maybe they just need 5 to come in the ground, and they need a smaller payment, and so we have the ability to come down. Characteristics, unlike the Foresters, which was term, this is a whole life product. It's not going to gain cash value. It does if it's internal. So we don't sell that side of it. We sell permanency. This is, once they get it, their rate locks. It's never going to go up on them. They can never take the policy away from them. It's good to go. All right. You're going to see when I have you know, when you're calling me from the homes, you're going to see I'm going to do this is a common combination product. So there's a lot of, I'm stepping out of pillar 1. I'm going into like pillar 4 right now, which is in home. So I'm going to have you do a lot of combos. If they are below the age of 70, or a lot of times for our final expense people, we're going to use a phrase. We're going to say, oh, you're still young enough to qualify for the 80 supplement. That's your accidental. And I'll explain that more of that when we get into 80 accidental death.
Oh.
That's what all 80 means. The fact that we say you're young enough is going to excite them. But what we're going to do is we're going to get a whole life policy. It's either going to be one of 3. This is going to be very common. Like what I'm getting ready to tell you, you're going to do this a lot in Florida. A most common brokerage package we put together is some kind of a whole life for an older person. It's either based on health. It's going to be Living Promise. And yes, these are going to be part of your pillars. So we need Living Promise, which is the second one inside that group, Transamerica, and finally Great Western. And it's all dependent on health. I'll go through each one of those, so you don't need to memorize that now. Just understand all 3 of those are whole life policies that do lock in price. They never expire and never get taken away. And it's guaranteed. It's a guaranteed product. It can't ever go up. It can't ever go away. All right. And we're going to combine one of those, depending on their health, with a Mutual of Omaha Guaranteed Advantage accidental. And so we'll write that one down in a second. This is more head knowledge for you right now. Just understand we're able to provide a lot of value by putting a final expense together with an accidental together, because it covers 2 different types of risks and if you explain it the right way, people are really going to like it and be excited about it, because it does have some very significant value to it. All right, so final expense or Living Promise. So again, every time I'm giving you one of these, so we've given you 2 so far, Foresters, you need to download an app and you need to download the quotes. Like you need to understand how to quote each one of these products that I'm telling you. Okay.
Download the app and the quote.
Yeah, so download the physical.
Okay.
So remember, you're going to keep an application in your bag so you can reference the questions before you start your e-app to make sure they're going to qualify for it. Okay. And a lot of times you're just going to be calling me. Once you have general health information, you're calling me from the home. I'm picking up, and you're going to put me on speaker. You're going to see a little bit how I sell in that situation, and listen to the words as I explain them because they're on purpose. Like you're going to learn a lot through like on the job training that way. Like I need to get back to Cody. He's like, can I go ride with somebody? It's better if he just goes out there and puts me, like I can be in every home with them. He just needs to get comfortable with failing quick.
Yeah, so that's what I need to do.
Yeah, and when you get there, it's easy because you're going to have me in your back pocket. It's literally like having me in the home selling with you, because it's actually more powerful than if I was standing right there, because it's almost like with a millionaire who wants to be a millionaire, phone a friend kind of stuff. All right, and so you're going to be calling me, and I'm going to be making these assessments. After we do 2 or 3 together, you're going to be in your head going, oh, I bet he's going to do this. Oh yeah, and it's going to teach you so fast, and you're going to get you'll learn my thought process, which is the most important aspect from this. I want you to learn how I'm approaching these scenarios every time. But the most common scenario you and I are going to be working on together when you're inside the home is going to be a final expense product with an accidental, as long as they're under 70. And if they're over 70, we're going to sell time, which is another concept that comes in pillar 4, which is in home skill set. Okay. All right, so get the calculator for Living Promise. There's a mobile quote you can get off of it in NAA University. You can actually download an app as well if you just want to have one on your phone, but it has to connect to the internet anyway to update rates. So just use the mobile quotes way faster. And then I want you to download a sample application or a blank application for that so you can review it and have it in your bag. I'm good if you get it, laminate the dang things, and just keep them in your bag so you can pull them up for easy reference. You know, like maybe put a little something together so you can just flip through it real quick. It's just because it's a reference point, that's all. Okay, next one. So we've done strong foundation for most of our mortgage protection policies. Second one's going to be Living Promise. Now we're gonna do another final expense category. This is going to be for people that have had heart attacks, but not recently. So what I mean by that, they've had a heart attack, it was over 4 years ago. They had cancer, but it was over 2 years. So there's 2 levels inside of this next app. This is Transamerica. Transamerica is going to cover our older people that have had some bumps and bruises. Like Living Promise, diabetes, gout, high blood pressure, they're not going to care anything about anything. They're going to get approved right away. Cancer, now we're looking at decline. So now we have to go to a more, and these are what they call impaired risk, if you remember from the test that you guys did. She's already done a mental dump. Good. All right, so here's the deal. So so these are going to be people, they had cancer, they're healthy now. Everybody's always healthy. I mean, everybody else says, oh no, I'm good. All right, COPD, but no oxygen, they're going to take as a standard. And I'm going to help you place, there's 2 categories we're going to look at. Technically, there's 3, we're only going for 2. Because if we get into graded, well, I'll give you 3. Transamerica has 3 levels of protection. You got preferred, you got standard, and you have graded. Each price gets exponentially higher based on like what they can quote at. The application itself will literally tell you, based on the questions, what you need to rate them at. Like it's almost it's foolproof because you're looking at these. Oh, we made it out of box 1. First box, if you answer no to everything in the first box, they can at least get graded. Now, can they answer no to all these? Oh, well, they can get standard now. Can they survive all the way to the end? And if they get a yes, now you're just looking at, they don't get preferred. All no's are preferred. 1 yes is probably standard or graded. And it literally tells you if they answer yes here, it's standard. If they answer yes here, it's graded. It's on the application, so you can't mess it up.
Okay.
And it's a paper app right now. So you need, in addition to having this on as a reference app in your bag, you need to have this app in your bag, like 10 of them. And it's a short app. Oh shoot! Can I give y'all some tips, in-home tips? About the Living Promise. I forgot to do this. I apologize. So if you could draw a line or.
Okay. So Living Promise. Okay.
So I know I'm backing up on you, but this is something that's new with the app that we kind of learned about. Living Promise now, when you're in the home, it actually does the underwriting while you're there. So that means, and you got to be careful here because this is fitness in the butt already a couple times, and now I'm aware of it. When you get ready, like before you finish the app, you're going to lock the application. It's like a HIPAA lock. You cannot change a health answer once it's done. So you've got to be rock solid in your answers before you hit lock on the Living Promise, because it's not like a lot of times we can lock and unlock, modify something if we screwed it up. Once you lock with Living Promise, you have to start a new app if you messed something up. So once you get it, it's gonna basically pull the scripts. It's gonna do all the underwriting electronically, and it's gonna say based on the information that we have, your candidate, it may qualify for graded or standard, right? And that's it. Those are the 2 Living Promise. And now you have to. That's your quote. And so it's gonna tell you, which is good. It's more like a point of sale decision. It's got to go through one more level, but you're almost done with the whole approval. So just know that Living Promise is, once you hit this lock, it says it on the screen. I'm just so used to click. Good. Because you get used to them, it changed. It's new to y'all, so you're going to read it. But just understand you cannot unlock it once you lock it. That's my only tip for the Living Promise. Otherwise, it's very straightforward. So sorry about that. Now we got to go back to the trans. Question?
All these are done online, just like the same way.
Everything except for trans, which we're getting ready to get into. Transamerica is paper.
Okay, Transamerica.
That's the one I said, in addition to having a reference laminated or whatever, I don't care if it's laminated. You may have a folder stapled with sample apps you can reference. I would keep that with you at all time. You're going to want to have physical paper apps because if you're going to do a trans, you can't do any app. They don't have it yet. They're working on it. It's coming, but right now we're still stuck with paper. There's 2 tips I need to give you for Transamerica. So let me know when you're caught up and ready.
Okay.
All right. Tip number 1, and this is stupid, but it's what it is. There is on page 1 of the Transamerica app, there's a beneficiary section at the bottom. You're not going to use it. They won't even accept it if you do. You'd think they would just remove it, right? No. So what you
section
do not use. In fact, I've had Courtney draw up like the PDF that we send to our new agents. So it'll probably be on y'all since you're in our group. It's going to say see attached, and you ignore that. So you're going to use another page called the supplemental beneficiary page. It's going to be part of the application. You'll see it, but that's where you do the beneficiaries. So that's a rookie mistake that I want you to avoid. When you get to the bottom of the Transamerica page 1, it's going to say beneficiaries, ignore it. They decided not to use it now. I don't know why. I think it's the stupidest thing ever, but whatever. I don't care. I care about getting the family covered and us getting paid. That's it. So if they want to see that, then that's. All right, so that's tip 1. Second one is, and this is something a lot of people miss. And it's okay if you miss this because you can correct it later. It doesn't require a signature. But on the top right hand of almost every page of the app, you need to write the client's last name and the last 4 digits of their social. There is a space provided, and it'll say that, but it's so easy to miss because that's counterintuitive. Or what are some other tips? I gave them the benefit. We're on Transamerica tips for application submission. I already did the beneficiary. You're not going to use the beneficiary section. You're going to use the supplement page and the last name and the social on each page. Any other tips that you see from a processing perspective?
They have the HIPAA form too.
All right, make sure and we have a training
Yeah.
where we send people.
Yep, I'll send it.
You got to make sure that your HIPAA is signed as well. Transamerica also allows people to use their Social Security MasterCard to pay for their app if they need be. So if we ever have people that are in impoverished situations, even if they qualify for Living Promise but don't have a checking account, you're going to see that sometimes in more rural areas. But they get a Social Security every month. We can use everybody that has a Social Security payment, they also give them a MasterCard. And so we can actually deduct payments. And so there is a Social Security form you have to fill out. And the biggest, it's pretty self-explanatory. You'll see it. You'll see a place you have to put the digits and all that stuff. The other thing with Transamerica, even if you don't think you need it, get a signature everywhere that it requests from the insured and the home. Right, Court? I mean, they are sticklers, and I swear they're looking for reasons. They love to find mistakes and send clients back out or send agents back out.
Don't make any
You
changes.
can't get too many signatures?
Not really. I mean, as long as it's calling for it. There's going to be pages that you're not going to necessarily use for every client because it's not relevant to them. Get them signed anyway until you're 100% comfortable with it. And then what?
No changes on any pages.
See
Like
if you
don't
can
cross
figure it
out anything, and don't use whiteout on any app, period.
Period.
They get a whole new app.
No whole new page.
Yeah.
And again, that's not going to really, it's only relevant to this one app. Because it's the only paper app we've got.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's really just Transamerica. So keep a lot of Transamericas with you and then maybe some of your trunk of your car.
Okay. Okay.
Right. All right. So that's that for Transamerica. And then finally, before we get into our supplements, the last app you really need to kind of be familiar with, download and be able to quote and all that stuff. It's going to be Great Western. This is our catch-all. There's I think you have to be over 45 to get it. I think that's the starting point. But research it. I'm going to put that on you. Make sure you can write this application on paper as well. It is an e-app. You have to have a PC. You cannot write Great Western on a Mac. They say you can. I haven't figured it out yet. So y'all both have a PC?
I have
I
an
have a regular laptop.
That's all you need. You're fine. As long as it's Windows, it's not Macintosh. No, you won't have any problems. It's going to have you log in. It's going to open up, they call it like a Citrix window. It's going to look different than all the other apps. It's easy. It's a little different looking. Don't let it scare you. It's a box. Put the information, get the next. Oh, what I had the first time I did it, I was confused. I'm like, what do you do now? It's subtle, but on the bottom right-hand side, there's a next button. Just gotta click next. Yeah, it's like the same color as the screen. Like it's a purple box, it's a purple arrow. Just you make it neon something or black, something. But it's easy, and it's a guaranteed issue product. The pricing is actually pretty good on it. So when I say guaranteed, what this means is literally there's no condition that they can have that's not going to allow them to get coverage. It's just more expensive.
My dad told me yesterday that, I don't have any coverage because I have had hepatitis C and
We can probably get him Trans-American with his Hep C.
and he goes, yeah. I mean, I can get coverage. They're just going to charge me $1,000 a month.
Nope. We can get it a lot cheaper than that. And how old's your dad?
He's 66.
So perfect person to do a combo package. Like we would do some kind of a final expense, maybe even living promise. Because if it's just Hep C, that's like you wouldn't be able to get like mortgage protection level. But he definitely would qualify. That's not like threatening. Yes, it is a liver thing, but as long as it's under control, I mean, he's not been like it'll tell us. But yeah, there's tons of options. And that your dad is not out there alone. There's a lot of people that think just like that.
Yeah.
They think because they have a condition, they can't get something. That sort of thing. Hey, Kyle.
Hey, are you on Zoom right now?
Yeah, we're zooming. Just I'm working with these guys. They're getting ready to hit the field.
All right, awesome.
But yeah, and so a lot of your clients, and so you're going to encounter that, oh, I can't get covered. And so instead of trying to convince them on the phone that they can get coverage, we're going to go, no big deal. We're going to get, like, the temptation is to try to convince them over the phone. We're setting appointments.
Right.
You're there to deliver something. That's it. Let's get out of the, and what that's going to be the, like, that's the third pillar of production. This phone screen. All right, so now, so we're still in the first pillar. We've got our main products down. I want to give you some alternates now. So your primaries are going to be Foresters, Living Promise, Trans-American, Great Western, right? Just 4 of them. Now let's cover some alternates. This will be, like, you'll learn this secondarily as you get more familiar. There's going to be times I'm going to have you use your alternates instead of your primaries. So your mortgage protection alternate is going to be CFG Safe Shield. This is back, now we're back at the same health level. These are relatively young, 65 is fine. Never, or, a lot of these guys are going to be in their 40s and 50s, 20s, whatever. But they don't have any major health hiccups. They're going to qualify for standard rates across the board, right? So, so CFG Safe Shield is just like the underwriting for Foresters. Differences. Foresters is great with kids benefits, but if you've got a husband and wife, their kids are grown up, you might want to look at Safe Shield because they have the option of getting all of their money back. Foresters does not offer a return of premium. CFG offers 2 of them. You can either get 50% of all your premiums paid in back at the end of it, or you can get 100%. And they calculate that if it's a $100 a month payment, just hypothetically, all you would do is if it's a 30 years, that's 360 months, 100 times 36. It's going to tell you like what they're going to get back at the end of it. If you choose the 50,
30 years.
If at the end of it they didn't die, they're going to issue them a refund. So is that a 30? 100?
You said 36?
I think it's higher. I think it's 30. Alexa, what is 100 times 360?
100 multiplied by 360 equals 36,000.
So they'll get a check for $36,000 at the end of the month. People get fired up over that. Well, maybe that's a little too expensive. Okay, so choose the 50. They like the idea that it's like a little pricey. Change the calculation on your app to 50%. All right, and then they'll get 18,000 back at the end. And it'll be, or won't be 18 because the price is going to be lower. And then you multiply it times 360 divided by 2, and that's what they'll get back. So it's a nice alternative to Foresters when they're not as concerned with some of the free benefits and they like the idea of getting their money back. Very simple e-app. It does look different than the other ones. It's pretty clean. I like it. Big radio buttons. I mean, it looks like a 4-year-old could do it. But that's a good alternative. It is an e-app. So that's your first alternative. When we talk about alternatives for the Living Promise, that's going to be your CFG Dignified Choice. That's your second alt. So now we're moving. So CFG is equivalent to the Forester Strong Foundation. The Safe Shield is. The CFG Dignified Choice is the equivalent to the Living Promise. Does that make sense?
Dignified choice.
Yep, it's the cousin or the sister. You know what I mean? Like they're really kind of the same product. In fact, if you ever write one and you like CFG Dignified Choice better, I'm 100% okay with you writing it. I really am. There's gonna be one.
There's a difference?
What's that?
Is there a difference?
I don't know enough about those two to find a difference. They're very subtle, if anything. There are some differences, like they're subtle, but and this should be a good testament to you. Not bragging, but I was the number, like out of my team, I sold more than anybody last year. I don't know the answer to that question. Why? I'm not a product expert. I'm a sales expert. So try to I want you to learn these products enough.
Okay.
I don't need you to know everything. We have a team that can answer those questions. We have underwriting guys. I can pick up the phone. I mean, there's some people that just naturally gravitate to it and they know it like that. Great, good for them. I want to be fantastic at helping families. Otherwise, I'd just be an underwriter. But if products are what did it for me, I probably wouldn't be a sales guy. So yes, there's some differences, and I do know a lot just from experience. But it's just not my passion to know every nook and cranny of every product in every situation, because we have an entire team and we have the Riddle group chat we can access. All right, so one more alternative for Living Promise. So there's really 3 final expense, and this is more of a true alternate because there's going to be situations. I forget what it was. Terry Edwards answered it for me the other day. It's either mental health or it had to do with like drug and alcohol counseling or something. Living Promise cares and Plan Right does not. I'm trying to remember which of those 2 scenarios, but Forrester's Plan Right is your third alternate for that Living Promise. And I have a product pyramid I'll print and give to you guys that have these on here. That'll help you see it visually as well as your notes. And you can keep that with you in the hall. But again, I want you calling me anyway. Like I really do, because it builds trust. As we get into the 4th pillar production, which is in home, I'll teach you how to call. Hey, I'm sitting here with my friend Bob. We're trying to see, I've got a good idea. I just wanted to make sure, get your opinion before we proceed, make sure I've got his best option. Like you're literally calling because you want to make sure you're doing the right best thing for him. If that's the spirit you call it, find help on it. And then you got me on the phone and I'm going to really use my experience and try to help you get that line. All right, so Forrester's Plan Right is the 3rd pillar. Or no, sorry. It's the 3rd alternative to Living Promise, or the second alternative. There's 3 final expense categories. So like they would all be on the same level as Living Promise. Transamerica is up here on the pyramid that you're going to get from me. Yeah.
I was just gonna ask if you have that.
What, the pyramid? It's if you go to my open up a new window and go to slides. And then enter into product pyramid. If you go to the last page, you can find it and you see it. All right, there are no alternatives really for Transamerica. That's a one trick pony. And then guaranteed, Great Western, in my opinion, talked to Lisa Mabby. I was discussing this with her the other day. AIG used to be my go-to. They had a rate hike. I'm not tired of a rate hike because now Great Western is coming out cheap before. So keep it simple. Let's just stay with Great Western. You're going to run a lot of Great Western in Florida. Seniors are here, and there's things that just there's a lot of people that have heart attacks in the last 2 years. They can't get income insurance. They can get it with Great Western all day long.
That is a guaranteed issue that's a whole life.
It is. Yeah. Anything besides Forrester's Strong Foundation and the CFG alternative for which is SafeShield are awful. The Strong Foundation and the CFG SafeShield are terms. Right. All right, now we've covered all alternatives. Let's cover supplements real quick. There's just two of them, and we're almost done. And I break these down mentally because, again, I don't want you to get overwhelmed. One, I just want you familiar with it. So when I tell you to grab this out of your bag or pull this up, you'll be able to do it. Like, you don't have to memorize like all these things. You're going to get that very quickly, faster than you think.
Okay.
But, oh yeah, I know where that's at in my bag. I mean, because I'm going to basically be the traffic cop. I'll direct you what to get. So here's the supplements. The first supplement is going to be the Mutual of Omaha, or MOO, Guaranteed Advantage Accident Only Policy. There's a phrase I want you guys to memorize. So
Omaha accident.
it's called Guaranteed Advantage. It is an accident only policy. I call it an 80 supplement. Thank you, sweetheart.
Oh,
Yeah, now that you've written all that stuff down, here's an easy to understand diagram. I'll review that with you before, because I think I updated it. It should have just Great Western at the top, maybe AIG.
Highlighted.
That's, and I have color version. You can put it that's very handy. However. All right, so back to the Guaranteed Advantage. That's your first supplement. This is going to be we do a lot of with our final expense products if they're 70 or younger. If they're 71, they can't get it. So there's a couple phrases you're going to want to memorize as you start to sell this. The first phrase is, and it's going to be presented like this. Like when you're done writing, I need to look it up because I need to see my body language and how I say it too. Okay. So we're going to, my eyes get big. You're actually still young enough to get the 80 supplement. What that is, when you're young enough, we basically, we can put a brokerage package together that allows you to get accidental coverage in addition to your base coverage up until age 80. And what's crazy is that a lot of people don't know, but up until age 65 even, the most common form of death is like accident injury. And it's not like people think. Like a lot of people always think car accidents. Slip and falls in the kitchen, slip and falls in the bathroom. People hit their head all the time. People on ladders, very common. And for the elderly, it's very even more because it's harder to step sometimes. You trip. Like it's sad, but there's a lot of it. And so it's good that you're still young enough that we can put this in place. And it's really inexpensive too. And it gives you a lot of value in it. And so that's how you that's how you sell the accidental. It's 100% true, but unless you explain it right, they're not going to get the gravity of how significant and how cheap it is. Like it really is. It's only, most of the time it's like $10, $12, but it's going to help create value for that piece that's underneath. Because if you have a $5,000 final expense and a $50,000, $55,000, and I use the word total coverage. Once I explain the accidental nature to it, from here on out, it's total coverage. Because I want them to understand that it is total coverage, and I don't shy away from it. It's our job to make them understand it. But once I've identified what it is, total coverage. So like your total coverage is $5,000 for $35. So it was 25 and 10, $35. So I'll show you some tricks on drawing it out. But so you'll have 55,000 until age 80. But then even after 80, if you live past that and like die from like a health related issue, you're gonna have $5,000 to help get you buried, so you know, the burden of family stuff. You're a good head nodder. That's perfect. So you're good when you're listening to me. I need you to be good at that when you're talking to, like when you're selling. It's like, oh yeah. Like that is so powerful. People don't understand how powerful it is. It's actually it releases a yes and no.
I do it a lot.
Good.
Probably pay attention.
Good. Yeah, that's good. Okay. The other supplement we're going to, and that is an e-app. So you'll be able to do that on your phone, laptop, whatever. All right. Second supplement, last supplement. It's going to be Children's Whole Life. Mutual of Omaha, CWL, which is Children's Whole Life. This is a wonderful add-on for the children. If there's children in the home, you can get them each covered for like with $10,000 for like $5 a piece. And it's whole life. They can like when they can take it over. The rate's guaranteed forever. So they'll have an extra 10 grand. You know, mom and dad put on, or grandparents are actually able. So if you have a final expense situation and they want to get something for their grandkids, Annette Clark is fantastic. The supplement. And so is like Brant Swindell. When you watch his 123 on an A University course, he talks about putting it into the program. Like when he presents the prices, it's always the base coverage, an accidental piece, and the kids. And so you get all this. Remember the cost versus value. So here's the cost, and then we have our supplements. Cost goes like this. So here's zero. Cost for the first policy is here. Cost for accidentals here. Cost for kids here. But the value goes up here with these last two. So you get a lot of value for a tiny bit, and it makes the base policy more attractive because they're getting a package. We're packaging it. It's the same reason they do, like the most expensive part of like a fast food meal is the burger. But you know, if they can throw on fries and a Coke, like, oh yeah, for $4 more. That's kind of like that. Like they just explain it. You know? So the Children's Whole Life through Mutual of Omaha, it is an e-app. Tip for writing the tip for the Children's Whole Life. The first person that they're going to ask for is the owner or the parent. So you don't put the kid's name first. You put theirs. And I think on the be careful because I think you make sure. And it's been a second since I've written one. You may have to put your producer name. So here's the tip: pay attention carefully to the very beginning of that app. I mean, it tells you exactly what you need. But I've filled out. I've started off by putting the kids in, and it's not. They want like the mom. Like who's going to be paying for this? Who's the owner? Dad, mom, one of them. So that goes into as the owner, and then the insurers. You're just going to add the kids. And it's funny though. It's going to be one application you take, but if you have 3 kids inside of that app, it'll process as 3 separate apps. Because 3 separate policies will come, and you also, when you're reporting your numbers, in your issued paid will reflect 3 apps, even though it was one physical app. Because it's by kid, they just split it out. So that's a great way to provide some additional value and true protection for the kids if it locks in. And then they can upgrade it later on in life if they want to a certain extent, how much it is. But which is good, like God forbid if they end up with some kind of a condition as a child, then we'll always have that we can never take away from them. All right. Questions. We're done with pillar 1 finally.
Well, I guess just
All right.
So the supplemental ones, you would just add on with it, like
So-
kind of like it's a package deal. This is a package.
You're a
You
person.
don't tell them that it's optional or it's a package deal.
It depends. I present it both ways a lot of times. I mean, I don't try to mislead my client. I do try to package and market smartly. You know, and so I'm clear. You know, like this is, and I explain too. When you see your draft, you're going to see, you know, because we're brokerage, we can combine multiple companies into one package and it saves you money. But when you get your drafts in your checking account, you'll see one for Foresters. It's going to say this. Even though your package is $35, it's going to be broken into these. So don't be surprised. So it's very obvious. And then if they say, what if we remove that? Say, absolutely.
Okay.
But I am presenting it as a package. And because we are brokers, we can combine multiple companies to get the best result, get them the best value, instead of being stuck with one that forces you to, you know, which is like how we kill places like Allstate, State Farm, some of this big brand. Like, oh, you can get life insurance with us too. I'm like, how sweet. If I ever see Allstate Life, it's like, sweet, this will be easy. Because we'll get way more for less.
I have. Is that the red one? Allstate.
State Farm. You'll smoke State Farm on yourself. If it's yours, you'll see, and you'll make a commission on it.
Sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, the benefits of being licensed. Okay, so that's pillar 1. Whew. Everybody good? Need a break? You okay? All right, let's pause the video for a second. We're gonna take a 5-minute break, so note down at the bottom for.
Pause recording.
Huh?
It says pause
Oh,
recording.
pause recording, perfect. All right, we're gonna pause recording. We have pregnant people that are here. Recorded, we're picking up. All right, so that was pillar 1, which is all about products. Understand your products. And again, it's all about understanding your products enough to be able to reference them with it. You need to do just.
I know, but that may take you a minute.
All right. It may take me a minute.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm trying to get I'm doing those Zoom meeting on
Yeah.
product stuff.
Yeah.
I usually do the apps on my iPad,
Yes.
and I can't get them to link.
All right, I'm gonna pause this recording. I'll be right back. You'll get another 5-minute break.
We're meeting Eminem.
She's not. The baby is. And we're back again. I couldn't fix Andy's issue, so I don't have time to fix it right now. So I gotta move on. All right. Be good enough to know how to quote and have the application in your hand if you need to. That's it. Because you're going to be calling me from home, that sort of thing. Moving on. Second pillar of production is leads and understanding leads. Pretty straightforward, really. There's some good, and there's a good NAA University course. I think it's 164. I'm not sure. But if you search for leads, you have to go to view all courses. That course. But just know the difference between your A's. Like there's different, a lot of times people get these confused. So the most common reference to people, like when they say what kind of leads you have, I have A leads. You need something? It's
Pillar
okay.
2 is leads.
Leads. It's leads. It's understanding your leads and lead flow.
Yeah, I know most of the leads are like A1.
And so what we're talking about when we say those phrases, we're talking about the age. But there's also different types of leads inside of those categories.
Yeah.
You got DMLs, CILs, So the biggest thing, and I probably need to work on a graphic similar to make it understand. But leads are pretty straightforward. The one of the biggest rules is leads are leads. Don't get too crazy involved. Don't get too upset with them because you're going to call A leads. They're going to be like, I didn't send this in. Then you call an RW, which is a year-old lead, saying, yeah, come on over. More times than not, when you call an A lead, they're going to say, come on over. More times than not, when you call older leads, somebody who's already been out here. Okay. There's still meat left on the bone. And so the biggest thing I try to get across to people, and this is more phone script, I guess, but the lead selection is what the second pillar is understanding how the leads work, being profitable with them, understanding what GMR, the difference, and I'll cover that in a second, the difference between a GMR and an IP, what that means, and how that whole system works. Call the leads, be decent on the phone, try to overcome the objection 2, maybe 3 times, and if you're still unsuccessful, this is where I differ in some of my teaching than some other people. Some people like fight teeth and nail to get the appointment, piss people off to no end, and if they get them to agree to it, because I've been there. Again, it's hard to say this without sounding arrogant. This is not arrogance. I'm so good on the phone, I can get people to say yes to me. Doesn't mean they're going to be there when I get there. I can win a conversation. I can win the argument. What's the point? We're here to help families and make money for our families, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we got to find that balance. And so I need your scripts good enough. And the best way to get good at your script is to sit right where you are while I'm working during the week, and let's have you dial. And I'm literally going to be coaching you in real time what to say while on the phone. And sometimes I'm going to come in as your supervisor and finish booking the appointment for you. You're going to learn really, really, really quick that way. I'm going to give you each a phone script to practice. You may have already done it, but that'll be like, we probably need to do that ASAP, maybe today. Like we're not going to do it on this call or this session we're doing, but we'll probably do it later today. Phone script is real straightforward. The basics. I'll use Heidi ring ring. Here's what a basic one sounds like.
Hello?
Hey, Heidi.
Hi.
Hey, this is Chris. How are you doing?
Hey, good.
Good. Hey, listen, I'm just giving you a call, getting back to you about, it looks like, I guess you'd sent a little form in, trying to get some information on a mortgage protection program out there in your area. We're scheduling routes for Thursday, and we weren't sure of your work schedule. What time do you generally get home from work, like during the week?
I get home about 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. Okay. What I'm going to do, I'll have it either myself or another driver. We're going to put you down for would 6, 7 to 8 o'clock time frame. You'd be home by then.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. Well, if it's me, I do have a silver GMC truck, and we'll get the information out to you between 7 and 8 on Thursday. Do you have a number on your mailbox? I'm going to do some, and so that's phone script. That's the next. That's pillar 3. Right. So learning phone script is important, is really important, but it's a lot easier than people make it out. Like a lot of people just think it's like, oh my God, no, you gotta set up a delivery. If you encounter a lot of resistance, I'll give you some techniques on how to like counter. But once they keep countering back, okay, no problem. Move on. We have tons of leads.
Okay.
Don't try to convince every single lead to the point where you're in tears and they are too. I need your energy level good. I need you talking to people that do want this stuff. They're out there. We got to go through the numbers. People are going to be in a bad mood sometime. Fine. We can overcome that a lot of times. Sometimes we can't. Okay. Put it aside for another day, another agent. Don't get to the point where you piss them off so bad that the next time you or somebody else calls them, that they're like, take me off, And there's going to be people, you're going to get old leads, they're going to say, I told you people to take you off. Okay. When we get to that, oh gosh, I am so sorry. You have my word. I will never call you again.
Yeah.
And then draw through it, go away, and move on. But understanding how the lead system works is important. Watch the video. I think it's 164. Hang on one second. What is this? You got a warning or something going on here. Messenger is now inactive. Joseph, can you still see us and hear us? Thumb up or down?
I can see you in the office.
Yeah, I mean, okay. It just no. Somebody else logged in. It looks like, so that's okay. So the messenger's down, but it's fine.
So that's kind of, not really silly, but I've kind of done like a lot of practice with phone script.
Hang on, this is Steven. He's inside of the home. So this always takes precedence. So one day, yeah. Hey, buddy.
Hey, man.
I'm doing some training with Steven and sorry, you're Steven. What's going on? Are you at home?
Yeah, I'm in a home. I'm with my
It's
buddy.
164, is that
And, all the policies that we had to consolidate, and then we're gonna try to get him Great Western.
Oh yeah. I remember this case. Yeah, he had a lot of different coverages out there coming to an end.
Okay, yeah, the one just ended this month.
Okay.
Sure. So I think he's on board with canceling the hospital and the
Yeah, that one was.
replacing the
Okay.
one that just ended term.
Yep. No. Yeah, that's probably smart based on what I reviewed from the spreadsheet that you put together. Because you'll be able to get him something that's permanent, guarantees, never going to expire, and the rate will never go up once it's in place. Yeah, that's I've not changed any, like everything we were talking about the other day. I still pretty much I'm still in line with that. And how old is he? How old is he? How old is he? Yeah, but there's also it's actually an e-application. Or wait, do you have Macintosh? Oh, you have the paper app. Does it have the payment information too on it? Or if I send it to you, can you print it if you don't have it?
Say that one more time, you cut out a little bit.
That's okay. I'm going to take off speaker. Give me a second. So on your application, your paper application, do you have the payment authorization page too? Because it doesn't come with the base app. You have to print it separate. And I can send it to you if you need it. Yeah, you can try to do it online. It's going to have you download like a Citrix component, but if you have a true Microsoft tablet, it's more than likely going to work. All right, and if you need help, is there a printer in the house? Okay. It's Stephen. I'm sorry. What was his age again? I apologize. I said I apologize. What was his age again? Okay, so he's coming at the tail end of it, but he's still young enough to add the 80 supplement until 80 as well, as long as it fits inside the budget. He's so young statistically from like dining perspective. I would highly recommend that because you can get that for like an extra $10. Does that make sense? No problem. I was saying that if he's 64, then he is actually still young enough to get the AD supplement on top of the base, and like use like we could put like I guess we call them broker packages, so we could draw from like 2 different companies for maximum coverage, and he can do that very inexpensively, and it'll cover him until age 80 for the AD supplement, because he's coming at the tail end of it where he's not going to be eligible anymore, but once he gets it, it locks in, and it's probably only going to be like $10 extra. I mean, it's really cheap, but it's really valuable. That the trick is getting it to before people are too old. So look at that. Yeah, look at that too. Yeah, the Mutual of Omaha Guaranteed Advantage, and like maybe just look at an extra 50,000, because that'll give him some really good combination coverage in the event that he dies unexpectedly before age 80. But then even after 80, he's golden with the base Great Western package. Does that make sense? Okay, so take a look at that. That'd be my only other advice. All right, and if you have trouble with the e-application, give me a call and I will email you that other page if you don't have it. Okay. All right, very good. All right, buddy, call me if you need me. All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Who's in the home?
Steven, he's done so good at calling in the home now. Like I had a hard time. He was joking about it. Like he saw Nick calls me every single home, like guaranteed. Steven would go out there, he'd not close, and then he'd call me after he closed one. And I'm like, dude, can you call me every home? So he started calling me yesterday, every home, and he ended up at $3,500 for the day.
Wow.
Because he got me on speaker and I was able to work with the client. Now this guy has been 2-3 times. So this one was a little different. So I was, but even if you listen to the language, he had me on speaker just now, and I was saying things like he's still young enough, and that's the way I'm emphasizing certain words. The client's hearing me say that. So even though Steven's at home making a sale, I'm selling for him over the phone, and I'm also giving him a direction. And if he's smart, he'll repeat, like he'll reemphasize what I said, so he can drive it home, because these are phrases that I know work. It's not a guarantee, but there's certain ways to say things and certain things you want to emphasize that are going to help you move along. So, all right, so back to where we were. Leads, again, I think it's course 164. Please research that though. It is wonderful. All right, good. Memory served. All right, so learn about the different leads and leads types, which is going to. Other thing is there's 2 terms we're going to be discussing or getting to know or familiar with. There's really 3 types of leads. You got free leads. Those are going to be in my inventory, and I'm going to try to get you started with those. The second are going to be instant purchase leads. These are, I'm going to tell you what they are, and then I'm going to come back to them. These are the leftover leads from GMRs that weren't filled that week. You don't know what GMR is yet.
Yeah.
I'm about to explain that. And the third type of lead is a GMR. It stands for Geographical Marketing Request. But all I want you to think of is a standing order for leads on a regular basis. That's what a GMR is. Standing order. It's a standing order for leads of a certain type.
Okay.
All right, so let me explain a little more about GMRs, because it plays into what instant purchase leads actually are. So NAA has a huge Malice facility. We have court researchers all across the country. NAA is they lose around $2 million a year on the lead system. A lot of people think it's a profit for them. It's not. Andy Allwright literally spends over, it's a net loss every year. He does it so we can put a very expensive lead in the hands of a brand new agent without killing their budget. And so when you buy a lead, let's say you spend 30, you're a brand new agent. I'm literally, if you're direct to me, which you are, if you spend 30, I'm getting billed 35 or 38 for the same lead. I literally pay more for the lead than you do, right? And that's okay, because when you make a sale, if you're going to get a cut, I get a cut too. So it's very symbiotic, but it's not even done. The average lead, like a handwritten lead, costs NAA around $80 to produce. So if you're 30 and I'm 30, let's just say I'm 40. It's not, I'm a little lower than that, I'm just freezing that. That's 70. Where's the other 10 come from? Andy, he chips in. So he actually takes a loss on the number one lead system. He could make money on it. He does not. He chooses not to, because leads are not our business. Helping families is our business. Leads help us be number one. It's the best way I know how to say it. Okay. So, so now you understand that. So that's called, without getting too complicated, that's called a vertical cost distribution model. So instead of selling to a bunch of agents at the same time to reduce costs, where everybody's fighting for themselves, we sell it to the agent, and the uplines chip in to do it. And that way the agent gets exclusivity, like for an A lead, and you'll see this in the video, I believe, for 5 weeks. Like nobody else could. You buy an A lead, nobody can touch that. That's yours for 5 weeks. You don't sell it in 5 weeks, it goes on sale as an A1. One means one other person's had it. Now that it's an A1, if 5 weeks goes by with nobody buying it, it automatically moves to an A2. Like 3 weeks, it becomes an A3, or it can be also bought in an A1, then automatically after 5 weeks, it becomes an A2. So time or people buying it can move it along. Every time it moves, it gets cheaper. And so that's what we call anything older than an A lead. We call it a multi-A lead. That means it's an A1, A2, A3, or RW, and R2. All right, these are just some basics. So back to the GMR. GMR is the most efficient way to operate your business from a supply perspective. Like we're in business, so you get a supply in and we sell product out. Your supply is your lead. So you're purchasing your supply at wholesale and you're selling the policies at retail. All right, that's how you make your money. So the easiest way to do that is to put yourself on, once you kind of get comfortable with an area and you kind of get the hang of things, get yourself on a GMR, because you can say, hey, Chris, give me 5 or 10 A leads a week in St. John's or Duval. Like you define your area and we define what you want to get, and we can tune the heck out of it. But once it's in place, you have a standing GMR. So let's just say you wanted 10 A leads, and A goes, oh, we have a GMR in place. We got to make sure we try to fill that. They're going to overmail. They're going to give you your 10. Let's say 13 got responded for the week. Where do the other 3 go? Onto the instant purchase map. We're not going to ram down his throat. He didn't want 13, he wanted 10. They got more than they bargained for, so they go on sale. So after 4 weeks, one of the things, so the advantage to you is that you get first dibs on every lead coming across in an area, right? I mean, literally one of Nick's sales this week, he got the lead that morning. The guy, it was a web lead, so he was on his computer that morning. He sold that guy later that night. So it was like within a day, the guy requested and had coverage. It's crazy. So that's one of the advantages of being a GMR, is you get to act on them right then. The other thing though is it helps NAA plan their budgets. So they're going to get, because if they know they can count on this group of agents taking this amount of leads in this area, they'll spend more money to make sure it's there. If they're unsure, they're less likely to produce leads in an area. We can produce leads in any area that we want. We have to have agents committed to taking them before they'll do it. And so you get I guess the biggest thing I want to get across is you get a discount for a GMR. After 4 weeks, you're basically kind of saying to NAA, I'm kind of here to stay in this area. Feel free to turn the pipeline up. I'm good. We're here. They're actually going to drop your rate on your lead flow. And so if you ever take it away or it starts over, but as long as you're happy, you're going to get this rate drop. And it's most significant on the A leads. It's not as significant on the multi-A's, but there's definitely a good chunk of discount. And I have this, I can show you the different like prices and stuff like that to have a grid. But that's what a GMR is. So as soon as you can, we're going to want to get you on one. As long as you are going to be active on a weekly basis, or if you're not, just be prepared to double up the week after. Like, so if you go on vacation, we're not shutting off your lead flow. You're just going to have twice as many leads next week. And then the instant purchase, you can go into a map. You can see the leftovers in that area. You can purchase them, and as soon as we approve them, at our level as your agency manager, within 20 minutes, you'll have be able to print them and start calling like that quick. So free leads, instant purchase, and GMRs. Those are really the 3 different types of leads that we have. All right. I'm going to move on because there's not a lot more. You're going to watch that 164 video. Leads is it's important to understand. Well, I'll close with this. Don't think you can only make appointments and sales with A leads. That's a huge mistake. my first month in the business, I sold $23,000 in annualized premium. I didn't have a single A lead, the whole, like not at all.
You had the
because
instant
Well, I did multi-A's.
multi.
Yeah. Whether or not I had, like, regardless of how I got them, it's just the fact that I wasn't calling brand new leads. Because what happens is unfortunately, there's a lot of bad agents out there that will call a lead once and then I didn't get a hold of them. There's a lot of lazy agents out there, and we love to run behind them because we want to. I mean, we get a discount for that lead,
We need to resolve it.
and we got to resolve it. Now, when you get into it, there's going to be some that have been resolved. Don't worry, but these are multi-A's, so we're going in with the understanding that somebody else has probably called them, maybe even been in a home, but it wasn't us. So let's, and you're going to find out how lazy agents are. I've gotten A3, so think about it: A, first person; A1, second person; A2, 3 people. So by the time it was A3, 3 people had it. I was calling leads down in Tampa once when I was first getting started about 10 years ago. People were telling me we were waiting for somebody to call. It was an A3. Me and Riddle used to go tear it up down there. It was crazy. So take it for what they are. Understand there's more work to be done calling them, but your profitability is going to be a lot higher. So I always kind of recommend a mix. Get some A's, get some A1s, get some A2s, get some, even some RWs in there, and let's get you some quality and quantity and go at it. And if you do it on a regular basis, we're in great shape. Questions on leads?
RW.
RW stands for rework. It's a 1-year-old lead. That's all it is.
Okay.
All right, that's pillar 2. So first pillar is products, understanding them. Pillar 2 is leads, understanding them, how that works. Third pillar of production is setting appointments. And so the primary way we're going to be setting appointments is, of course, phone script. This could be a very long segment, but I'm probably going to make it shorter because I'm basically going to give you homework. Phone script it's easy. If you'll listen, if you follow my instructions, it's really easy. There's a lot of people that really get caught up in it. You know, they're like, oh, I'm going to make dials. Like, just get on the phone and make dials.
Don't like me. I'll say it sounds kind of silly. Me and Landry have like gone over it a bunch. Like she'll pretend to be the person.
Yeah.
Try to object, and I've done.
There's not a lot to it.
Yeah.
You're scheduling appointments. I mean, it's some of the most relaxing time you're going to have as long as you're just like, you've got the right mindset. The reason people dread phones sometimes is they feel like they have to book every single lead. Calm down, it's a lead. You know you're going to get more no's than yeses. Move on, look for the yeses. Don't be fired up about it. In fact, don't even be fired up about it. Like, it's just, okay, this is a yes, this is a no. Be very non-emotional. Your goal is to get what your goal is. If you're full-time, it needs to be 15 a week. Because that's what if you book 15 a week on a regular, you'll be real close, if not over $100,000 in income that year.
Wow.
Gross.
15
appointments a week.
appointments.
15 to 20. Yeah. And when you're new, give yourself some extra appointments to give yourself an edge. It's a numbers game. But if you can get your schedule down to where come heck or high water, you're getting 15 appointments, you're going to do great in this business. People that make 3 appointments a week suffer horribly. People that make 10 suffer horribly. It's crazy the difference between 10 and 15. I mean, it's crazy. Like it's the difference maker. And so no matter what, if you can just do that, don't worry about anything else. You're going to write $3,000 to $5,000 every week. And that's going to be, for most people, that's going to be enough income where they're living very comfortably while they build their business.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so if you screw up and make 75, okay. And let's say you spent 25 on leads. Okay, you netted 50 grand for working 3 days a week? Great. Fantastic. You have to fall in love with the yes aspects of this business and ignoring the no aspects of this business. There's a lot of no's. Okay, if we can all acknowledge that and move on, now that we know that that's going to be part of our deal, and become as non-emotional as possible about the no's and look forward to the yeses and be fired up, you only need, out of 10, if you get 7 no's and 3 yeses, you're making good money. But you were told no 70% of the time because the yeses are so powerful. And so there's levels of yeses. Yeses on the phone and yeses in the home. And and yes is a carrier that says, yes, we're going to approve them. All the way across, though, ignore the no's and trust the system, trust the process. It's exactly that. And that I need you to be as non-emotional about it and more, I need you powerfully focused on the activity, not the result. If you focus on the activity, the results will take care of themselves. When you start looking too hard at the results, your mind gets involved. And I don't need your mind thinking, not yet. You can think later on, but right now we got to move, we got to act, and we have to ignore a lot. There's so many things that people pretend to do in this business they think are making them money, and it's not. Organizing your leads sounds great. Horrible idea. Just get on the dang phone, start calling. We stay inside of the county. How bad can it be? As you get better, then start organizing. Like I do, but it's real quick. I don't spend a lot of time. At first, I just want you bam. I got 100 no's today. Fantastic. I got 3 yeses. That's what I'm talking about. I don't care about the no's. You shouldn't either.
Okay.
So that's the mindset you really need to approach this business with. All the way through. No's on the phone, no's in the home, no's at the carriers. Forget all that. 15 appointments. Numbers will work out.
You said you were going to give us a phone script.
Yeah, I'm
I
gonna print it to
printed
you.
one.
It's probably same.
before.
We're gonna outside of this video, I'm gonna practice you guys one-on-one. Like
Okay. I just really liked how you simplified that whole, when you just did that mini practice with me.
yeah.
And you did that one time.
Oh, I'll have you doing that. That's my phone script is stupid simple. I'm booking an appointment. I don't even care. I received it. Oh, cool. Do you like it? So are you still at the 123? Why? My job is to deliver the information. When I get there, I'm a salesperson. But when I'm on the phone, I'm not. I'm a courier. I'm trying to just how do you get at their home when I show up? That's literally all I need. Because then they get all this. But this is crazy, silly, and fun, and smiley, and I'm different than probably most of the people they meet with because most people are salesmen. I'm just a guy trying to help them. I am trying to make a living. But man, I'm a good person, and I'm going to do my best by them. And they deserve somebody like me to try to help them because I'm truly trying to help them. There's a lot of salespeople out there that aren't. I'm not one of those people. My team is not either. I won't stand for that. We're going to be good people. And we're going to make some damn sales. Amen. That's it. The world needs us. It does. We need to reset people's ideas of what like insurance people are. And the industry as a whole, it does attract some weird people, but we're not those people. We're different. We really are. I'm glad.
There's so many people that are haters.
Proud to be in business with Andy Albright because he sets the tone for the whole thing. He's a good man. All right, that's phone script, and we'll work more individually on that, but that's all. I'm going to stop there just for sake of time. But the third pillar is phone script. All right, fourth pillar, real simple, is in-home. This is your skill set. So I'm going to touch on a couple things right now, but really, so first, watch Brant's in-home video, 123, very important video to watch. There's a couple of them in there. Watch as many as you want. You're going to take bits and pieces from different people. Like there's a few different people presenting on there. Watch them all. Kind of get the idea of like, what are some common themes that everybody does? That's the whole point of the ATM. Is to take the best of the best and put it into a manual that you can kind of follow along. As you get familiar with the ATM, remember it's a tool. Your job is not to sit there and read every page. That's boring and you're not going to make any sales. Use it as a reference. Use it to start conversations. Use it to see credibility. You spend 5 minutes, you might spend 1 second on a page. Okay. You might recognize some of these companies. Great. That's it. All right. And then you get into like the part where it's, what do you call it? Some of the most important aspects of it are going to be like the About You page, which are going to be like how much coverage they already have. Do they contribute to a 401k? What kind of health condition? That's real stuff. In fact, once you get through that, that's the time to call me as soon as you get done with that page.
Okay.
That's the point. Because now you can give me, just like Steven did a few minutes ago, enough information where I'm going to be able to help you make a sale. And if you forget, I'll be able to ask the questions. I'm going to say, tell me, because I'm going to say, tell me a little bit about the client, age, health, situation, stuff like that. And you're going to, I'm sitting here with my friend Bob or sitting here with my friend Susie. She's basically looking for just a policy to get, to help take care of final expenses. That right there clues me into what they're looking for. You've done the discovery on that already. So tell me a little bit about their health issues, Heidi, their age. I'm on speaker and they can hear my voice and I'm aware I'm on stage. And so I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'm going to basically kind of give you some examples of, hey, you know what might be a good idea? Most like it's a lot of times it's going to be that brokerage package of combination between those, and you're going to show them as a grid, sit together like 3 options, and I'll based on their budget, and I'll even help you get budget out of them onto the phone.
Okay.
We're going to be able to. I'm going to say I need run a quote on 3,000, 5,000, and 8,000. Also look at if they're young enough to get the supplemental, the 80 supplement on top of it until 80. And I'll probably use my line about the 100,000 people by 65 that die, 70,000 dead from accident, injury, on which the kitchen, all that stuff too. I'll say put a package together for 50,000 on top of each one of those base package. Come up with a brokerage package to see what that looks like. And basically what I've done is I've basically told you, like, this is quote these 3 out. You're going to add them together in the square. You're going to draw a grid. It's going to be very simple. So it's like this, almost like a 6-part tic-tac-toe. Depending on what we're selling, we're either going to be selling a total volume, 55, 60, and 65,000, right? Because 5,000 is going to be from a final expense and 50,000 is from the 80 supplement. Price. Or they're over 70, probably going to sell time. And what we're, the biggest thing we're going to try to protect inside the home is the equity that they have in their home if they have a home, which is a big thing. You're going to have a lot of seniors filling out these mortgage protection requests. They're too old and are unhealthy to get true mortgage protection. So we're going to use mortgage payment protection instead. And we're going to buy time, we're going to sell time. And so I'm going to have you put a 6-month plan together, a 6-month program, an 8-month program, or no, 8-month plan, or protection plan, 6-month protection plan, 8-month protection plan, and a 12-month. What is that? If their mortgage is $1,000 a month, so $1,000 times 6 months. So that's 6,000. We're not going to write 6,000 because mentally 6,000 doesn't seem as valuable as 6 months of protection. 6 months protection plan, 8-month protection plan, 12 months. If they're older, then they can't get the 80 supplement on top. Now, if we can get the 50 grand, it's going to be 55,000, 65,000, or 60,000 and 65,000. And they're going to pick the one in the middle because now we have something more tangible to work with, total coverage. So these are some things. And a lot of this is going to, the more than anything, just like I need you to be able to know where your products are in your bag. If I say use this product or that product when you call, I just need you, if I say, we might look at, let's look at our protection, our 6 month and 12, 6, 8, and 12 month protection plans. That should clue you because we've had this conversation. Don't show value of the policy, show the month.
Yeah.
Show time instead. We're going to sell time here. This time is valuable. It's got a lot of inherent value. Money has some inherent value, but not as much as time. And so it's just a different angle on the same thing, but one that they'll be able to relate to better.
And at that point, I'll have the information in my bag to show them
100%.
any product on
More than anything, you're gonna have the apps on your phone.
Yeah.
And you have a piece of paper, like the lead, flip it over, and just start put your packages together for them. You're just basically trying to put the best package together as possible. Sometimes it's 1 product, sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 3. Most of the time it's going to be 2. It's going to be a final expense plus. Now, if we're in the home with somebody young, we're going to go mortgage protection.
Right.
We're not even going to touch anything else. We're just going to give them 100 grand, 200,000. Price is going to be like $45. They're going to be fired up. You're fired up, and they're good. And if you write with Foresters, 2 years later, you can come back 2 years or after, and you can convert them and make another commission and convert them over to a permanent policy. It's the same thing. So I encourage you to write Foresters for that reason. If you can make twice as much money, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I say Foresters first, CFG second. Because there's no path on CFG yet. They're working on it. The last 3 years they've been working on it. So I keep writing Foresters until I know it's there.
For the ATM, when you get to that page and you're talking about their health, their name and the health, how do I get those standard list? Is that when I look at the application, I know the application first?
Partly, it's going to be, but the other thing is the underwriting guide on your phone.
Okay.
We'll set up shortcuts on your phones for you. And you can get it on NAA University. You can go to lgfsupport.com and get it from my website. It doesn't matter. Just get some shortcuts set up on your phone.
Okay.
Like you're going to want to create a folder on your phone with underwriting grids, with all the quotes, all quoting tools or shortcuts. I'll show you. Do y'all both have iPhones?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we're going to use Safari browser to create desktop shortcuts on your phone. We're going to organize them into a single folder. Now it'll be, you can call it NAA or Word, whatever. But when you go to that, it's going to have everything you need right there. You're going to have your underwriting guides to look at. You're going to have your bill charts. I mean, everything will be at your fingertips. And then when I say run a quote for Transamerica, you're going to go, okay. And I'm going to say run a quote with Transamerica, do LPT 121 preferred. You're going to know exactly what you're going to see that option. You go, oh, great. Because I got a lot of that stuff memorized. So
Okay.
I'll be able to tell you, but by being organized and having your stuff right in your phone, it's
Yeah.
going to make you feel a lot more comfortable in the home. It looks big, and you'll be gaining competency. You'll be gaining your confidence because you look competent in the home. And then I'm going to say also, oh, can you grab your Transamerica app? What does it say about diabetes? And I'm going to have you read me because I know where to get stuff. I don't have everything memorized, but it's on the apps. So if you've done a good job and you got your bag prepared, we're going to be a great team.
Yeah.
I'll be the guy in the chair and you're going to be the field agent and we're in business. And then after a while, you don't really even need to call me so much.
Okay.
You may get into a rhythm of doing it just because, there's some credibility that comes with calling somebody when you're at home. It gains them confidence. You may even start calling each other just to, hey, I was thinking about, and y'all be surprised how much I call from home. I call constantly. Like, why?
What do you call?
I call Annette a lot because that girl, she's a whiz on product stuff. I'm like, she is my go-to. Like, what do I call Lisa? But they're both fantastic. Like, they've been in the insurance business longer than I've been. Now I've been in this business longer than them, but in terms of total, they started off, and so they just.
Wow.
But I'll call anybody. I mean, if I can get hold of them, if I'm using Riddle Chat, I get a lot of great feedback on there. I encourage you. Always call me first. You can call Lisa too. I mean, you have the advantage of having like 2 people there. But if you can't get a hold of either one of us, go right to the Riddle Chat, ask that question, and sometimes do it at the same time and see who comes back first. Because you're kind of like juggling and stuff. But as long as you have a good rapport, they don't even care that you're asking for. I want to make sure. Let me check. I want to make sure this condition's covered. Okay. Nobody cares. Like, I don't know. It's not, just call. Really smart.
Okay.
All right. So learn the in-home. So the 4th pillar is the in-home. That really consists of, there are some, like knowing the ATM, biggest things you're going to want to uncover. Like I'm going to get, so you got the ATM, but then the mindset. There's really 3 things you need to get good at. There's 4 things in the home you need to get good at. That'll make you good at inside the home. The first one is rapport. I think it's RAPPORT. Let's just get to know them for 15 minutes. Talk about something other than insurance. Let's talk about their family. Let's talk about their hobbies. Let's talk about what they do for work, all that good stuff, right? Second thing you need to get good at is why they sent the form in. This doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out process. Brant has a trick that he uses. You'll see in the video. He calls it the insurable. For the insurance company who have to list an insurable interest, he actually adds a line to the bottom of the ATM on the About You page. You'll see it. You can use it that way. It can be as simple as, so when you're filling this out originally, what were you thinking about? Sometimes people see a commercial, gets them thinking. Sometimes somebody in their family or friend dies, gets them thinking. Sometimes you get a little flutter in your chest and it reminds you that you're going to die one day. What was it for you that kind of had you send this in? What are you thinking about? And you'll learn. I'm giving you the highlight right now, but until you're in the home and have some, like I was talking about with you the other day, and I've gone through it a couple times, you don't necessarily have a place to put this information in your head yet. You know it in theory, but you need to get out there and get in front of some clients and not know what the hell you're doing. I know that's the scary part, but so what? Just go do it. The option is a job, so you pick.
I choose this.
Oh, I know. I know your situation. All right, so the second one is the why they sent the form in. The third is their budget and budget sensitivity, like learning to be sensitive to budget. There's going to be some tricks. I've got some videos that you need to watch probably where I specifically cover this in detail. There there's a couple on the Alliance Jacks website you need to watch because I'm doing some live coaching and I really drilled down. They're like 30 to 45 minutes. So I don't have time to do it right this second, but as a homework assignment, I need you watching those. Where I dive into the why, how to get it, like in deep detail and phrases and all that. And so the budget is so first is the small talk, second's the why, third is the budget. The fourth thing is how to close, which is a skill set all by itself. Skills. So a lot of that, it's knowing, like I was even teaching some of it, like by showing you the grid. If we can get you approved, Heidi and Joseph, if we're going to approve on this, which one of these would you feel most comfortable with? Like on like it kind of doesn't need, but also more importantly, would fill your budget. I'm watching your body language. I'm watching you breathe. And if you're breathing really heavy, I'm pointing low. Say, and if you wait too long, I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna stop you from making a bad decision of one. Think about it. I'm literally gonna intervene and say, you know what might make sense? And I'm using my hand like this. You know what might make sense? Yeah, that's what. Why don't we see if we can get you approved at like the basic coverage first? That way we'll have an underwriting decision. If you decide that, this is something, once we get the approval, we'll know. And you can decide if you want this or even if you want to increase. We'll have about 30 days to do that. That way you're not spending a whole lot of money up front trying to get a decision. And if you decide you don't want it, of course, you get a full refund anyway. So it's not like it's at risk, but it's money out of your account. Would it make sense to start cheap to start with and maybe go up later? The answer to that question is always what? Yes. Okay. Do you have your, I always put my hands just like, do you have like your driver's license handy? If you grab that, grab any prescriptions you might be on to. And that's closing. That is a separate skill set, but it's how to move to them into action at the end. How to transition from this lofty idea of insurance to going and getting your prescriptions and your driver's license. Because once you do that, that's the close. Now you're moving. Now you're talking. And once that starts, the best thing you can do is now switch the topic back to non-insurance stuff. So tell me a little bit more about your so is that who's all in that picture right there? Oh, what's your social? You're doing both at the same time. So that you'll learn that. But that's just, it's a little bit of psychology, it's a little bit of distraction, it's a little bit of just keeping them feeling comfortable as we move them through the process. Is really learning how to keep them at ease. I can just talk and let them know that we're real people too. Okay.
How did you get skilled in the psychology area?
This.
Reading or
A lot of reading and a lot. I've been in thousands probably of homes. I mean, over almost 12 years. That's a lot of this. And I'm a student of human nature, so I watch people, and I just got this built up catalog in my head. I don't know if it's been thousands, but it's probably at least 1,000 homes I've been in. A lot. It's over 12 years. Lots and lots and lots. Okay. That's step 4, or that's pillar 4, which is personal production. The last pillar is more beaverish. So if you are a beaver in your personality test, or if you have a beaver in your life, this is what they're going to help you with. So so again, just to review, first pillar is product, second pillar is understanding leads, third is phone, fourth is in-home. The fifth pillar, production, is learning how to get paid, which simply means work your pending. Now, we have just been blessed with this marvelous thing called the ARC.
Oh yeah, I got an email about that.
It's huge. You guys have no idea. For years, we've had to log into like umpteen different companies, manage umpteen different passwords, know the difference between all their different nomenclature. Like, is this issued? Is this not issued? And what's the open requirements? And they're still working out some of the kinks. We just switched over, but we're really close. Like, we've already switched over, but now it's like, it's that transitionary period where you're kind of like, oh, they got some bumps in the road. We've almost paid all this out. You're going to be able to log into one place and see the open requirements on every single policy you're pending. We call that pending business. So you need to be logging in every day to the ARC once it's there. And before it's there, I need you logging into the insurance companies and seeing what's there. And if the underwriter says, I need you to answer this question again, or do it, respond, move on. But resolve it, stay active. The faster you get to your pending, the faster you're going to get paid. There's a lot of agents that it's so funny. People learned this business through the pillars. First, everyone wants to know a little bit about the products, some more than others. Then people want to know about the leads. Then they get good at the phone. And then they get good at the in-home. Then they get good at the pending. But it's like, you got to do all of it to get paid.
Yeah.
Like all of it. Like, so if by educating you now and let you know like what the different things are, the faster you can start having regular paychecks. Because it's actually, there's not a lot of moving parts to this business. I'm breaking it down for you, but I think these are the best break points for getting somebody acclimated to being ready to run production. And so everything we've talked about today is literally just production stuff. There's a whole other fun side of this business, which is the building teams. And I mean, just like you guys, I hope, enjoy being part of our team, right? It's like, this is awesome. I love being part of a warm environment. Believe it or not, people are going to love being a part of your team too. And that's the next level up too. But I got to be able to get you out there. You got to be a good model. You don't have to be the best. You're going to find people better than you. Thank God. Right. And we're going to love them. We're going to, pat them on the back and give them all the credit. We're on leaderboards and stuff. And they're going to make a ton of money. But the bigger picture of this business, and don't ever lose sight of it, is becoming an entrepreneur and you got to use your body and your mind for a while to go out there and make sales. And you're going to trade your time for income. I want to get you to the point where you're trading your knowledge for income, which is going to be one that you're going to be able to transfer what stuff that I'm teaching you now. You'll be teaching some other people, right? And even if you're not, you're really good at getting people to me or to other people that have the gift of training. You may not ever train them. Okay, we've got an incredible, it's at a university. It's called Hotspot. It's called having people in your upline that are naturally gifted in those areas. We're a team. We lean on each other. I have certain gifts. Brant has certain gifts. Riddle's got certain gifts. You guys are going to have certain gifts. We learn to use each other. We can all grow our teams together. And that's the beauty of this business. So the first step is kind of like really kind of getting your handle on that today. We're about to wrap up this. This kind of concludes really the 5 pillars of production. The next thing that we'll be working on individually are going to be like phone script, writing out like stuff like that. Really phone script, get some leads and get you on phones. that's kind of it. And in your case, you've already got your first policy. So phones for you, I want to walk you through your first policy so you get comfortable with that. But you do have some homework today. Like you got folders to make on your phone. Like go back, I'm going to post this on. So make sure you're prepped. When you are prepared, you're less hesitant to start. People hesitate or procrastinate when they're not prepared. So get prepared. It's easy. Just get your bag in order. Get your apps on your phone. Have everything printed and ready to go. Have a little folder. If you spend more than a day on that, you're spending way too long because you should have all that done in a few hours. Like the organization part. But once it's done, it's done. And you need it. You need to have it. Because I can say, hey, because I'll even probably test you. Heidi, run me a quote on a living promise and a 50,000 for a 52-year-old smoker. You should be able to go, okay. And have it. And if you can do that, now you can go to the home. But that's literally what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, hey, Heidi, can you run this, run this, run this? You just got to be able to pull the apps up. And they're so stupid simple. Age, okay. Yeah, I mean, state, got it. It's nothing hard about it. It's just having it at your fingertips. Any questions on the pillars of production? We're going to get started as soon as I turn that on.
You think I should do the apps on my phone and on my laptop?
The quoting tools are best on your phone. The exceptions are going to come when we get into universal life products. Those need to be done on your laptop, just for screen real estate, to be honest with you.
Okay.
You're capable of doing on your phone, but yeah. All right. Good job. I'm going to kill the video, upload this, and we'll take a break so you can eat and start getting some of your apps together. And then as soon as the next thing you and I do is let's get that forward. I want to see if we can put the Forsters app in and see if it works. And then I just need to practice phone script. And if you're ready, we'll just get you on the phones today, like the next hour.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Good. All right. Good job, guys. Good job paying attention and taking notes. You're welcome. All right.